Welcome back to the Red Stool. And today we're going to be talking about My Hero Academia, Chapter 300, The Hellish Todoroki Family, Part 2. So, when we start the chapter, we're getting a more complete sense of the outright collapse of Hero Society that's occurring right now ever since the raids and All For One's prison break. Things have been getting worse, and we find out that there have been a lot more pro heroes that are retiring and leaving. They're quitting. They're outright quitting. Being a hero right now is too much, and they're not prepared to deal with these villains, these attacks, and a lot of them are scared. And I'm pretty sure most of them never thought that death they would have to deal with, coming up in the golden age of Hero Society under All Might. So now that, we see that, villainy is back up on the rise, petty crimes are taken up, and one of the gangs that All For One released from prison, the Cider Gang, they're back out on the streets. And you probably formerly, when Bakugo and Todoroki had just received their provisional heroes license on the way back to the school, they encountered them. They were committing a robbery, and they stopped them and got their first arrest as pro heroes. So, that's just, the background on the Cider Gang. But they're back at it again. It looks like they're trying to rob some local mom and pop store. They're trying to clean house. They're stealing the food, money, anything that they can get their hands on. So since there's no police presence and there's no hero presence, that some of the townspeople, they're starting to take up a stand on their own. This is a quirk society we live in. Almost everyone has a quirk, and now they've somehow gotten their hands on what looks to be some illegal support gear, and they're taking a stand. That directly ties back into that cryptic message Redestro's clone left in his joint office with the safety committee about the seeds have been sown already. And this is what he's talking about when he means true liberation. Now, the people in the streets, they're taking up arms against the villains and whoever. It's just the main issue with that being they're not trained. They're not trained. They're not licensed to use these support items or even their quirk against another person. So things get extremely messy. And as the pro hero Wash is able to make it on the scene, he finds out that it's a little too late. So it looks like they were able to stop the Cider Gang, but at the cost of destroying the entire store that they were trying to protect and stop them from robbing. And also, it looks like there's a lot of casualties and people hurt in this because they simply don't have the training to, use these advanced support items, and it's just throwing everything into chaos because now the citizens, they feel like, there is no more hero society. The heroes can just up and quit. The police, they're off chasing down people. Who's here to help us? It looks like they're getting to a point where we need to help ourselves. So we could see a lot of, Redestro's dream of, people rising up and just using their quirks freely and doing whatever that true freedom he spoke about. And it seems like that true freedom is going to come at the cost of, people not knowing how to use these illegal support items or their quirks to, do battle with the would-be villains that are popping up and committing all these petty crimes. So that just in and of itself needs to be addressed immediately. This would be the perfect time for UA, Ketsubisu, and the other schools to step up and start letting their students who have their provisional license go out on patrols and help out with this large villainy problem. Or even if, UA, even if they let out some of those giant robots that they have in the schools for training, just out on the streets, just to patrol the streets for random acts of petty crime, just to help give the citizens some sense of ease as to, we're addressing the problem, we haven't just left you and abandoned you. And I especially expect to see, the UA kids out on the streets just because they lost Midnight. Eraserhead's in the hospital. Plenty of their classmates were injured, in these raids. So I know for a fact that they're going to be taking that personal. They're going to be hitting the streets and they're like, you know what? It's my job. I'm going to stand up. No, I'm going to stand up. I'll be the next pillar in Hero Society. And whether they get permission or not, I know that they're going to be out there helping the citizens because it's what a hero is supposed to do. And, speaking of what a hero is supposed to do, we cut to Stain, and he is not, it looks like right now he's not with All For One. He's out and he's on his own. He's gone to maybe an old hideout or where he lived, and he's retrieved a rusty old katana. So I'm pretty sure that he's going to be right back up to his old self-righteous hero killer ways. And, we could see him targeting, all the heroes who have decided to up and leave just because of the current state of Hero Society. Or, even worse, maybe he's looking at Endeavor like, I knew you weren't a real hero, that you couldn't live up to All Might and withhold Hero Society. You don't deserve to live, and now I'm going to come and kill you. So, with Stain, it's just, it could be either, it could be both, but I know that, he definitely shouldn't be overlooked just because of that ideology he has. Just look at how many people came to the League of Villains after he went on that rampage that night. He has the ability to attract people to his cause, and people and can mislead you into thinking that what he's doing is righteous. So that's definitely something to keep your eye on. We could have that clash between Iida and Stain again. That would be nice to see, but I'm definitely curious to what Stain's going to be doing and just who his next target is going to be. And he could even end up targeting some of these new villains that are popping up just because he's like, you're out here committing petty crimes. You know better than the fake hero. You're a fake villain. I'm going to kill you. So yeah, that's a really interesting part of the chapter for me. Just, seeing the Hero Society in tatters, and then, finally Endeavor, he's awake. He's regained his consciousness, but he's a little out of it. He's still being assisted in breathing, and he's just assessing everything. I feel like he's getting to feel, a real sense of the damage that he caused. Because, he might look at, Todoroki and be like, oh, the means justify the end. I did all that. Everything I did is going to help him become a better hero. And, I'm sorry, but with Toya, there's no justification there. What he did to him has clearly pushed him down the path of villainy, and now it's all coming back to him. And we see that he's just unable to deal with it. He's like, he's only frozen up twice in his hero career, and that's when both of his sons were in danger. And now he's to a point where if he was to see his eldest son, he wouldn't be able to do anything, and he could very well be killed. So as he's just processing all these emotions, and he even starts to cry. His entire family is outside the door. His wife, all of his kids, they're all there. And, Ree, she says, hey, I need to talk to you about our son. And now we can see that she could be ready to get to the final step in her healing process by confronting Endeavor. I'm not going to dive too deep into, the family aspect just because I touched on that in a previous video. So just, if you want to see more on that, just check it out. But Endeavor's vicious family cycle is coming to a head, and we're about to see a conclusion within his immediate family aside from Toya. So, all in all, when I first read the chapter, I was a little disappointed because since it was a 300th chapter, I was expecting something big, a couple colored pages, something crazy is going to happen. Maybe we get more from All For One. We see Deku, if he's training or not, just something. But as I was able to, sit down more and absorb it and talk to you guys about it, it's grown on me, and I like it because it's got me thinking, just with, everything that's going on in Hero Society, who's going to step up to those shoes and fill the shoes of the number one. I do see us leaving the golden era of Hero Society and going into a dark age that's ruled by either one or two demon lords with All For One or Shigaraki. Because, when we started this story and, you have Deku and he was narrating and he said, this is the story about how I became, the best hero in the world. And in order for him to become the best hero, then especially compared to All Might, the bar is here, and the only way that he had to do something that's All Might comparable, which is rebuild Hero Society and hold it up on his back. Now, granted, I know it won't just be him holding up Hero Society. There will be more strong pillars, but I think this destruction of the current Hero Society that we have is absolutely necessary, because there's a lot that needs to change, and without the conflict and adversity, they wouldn't be able to rebuild and make a better Hero Society. So this is all necessary, just for Deku to complete that vow to become the greatest hero. So I definitely think we're about to see, the fall and then the rise of this new villainous society. And I'm looking forward to it, just because Horikoshi, he's doing a great job as far as, just storytelling, world building in general. And you see that everything, the consequences are very real, and the ripples that go throughout the society, it affects everything. So, definitely let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments. Tell me what you want to hear more of. Are there any specific people you want me to cover? Would you like me to go more in depth on anything? And just stick around, because, of course, we got a lot more content coming. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.